Thanks for tuning in to 101.3 BKMG The Farce, coming to you live from separate places, pre-recorded. Now presenting, The Bane and Mickey Show. Hello again. Welcome to our second podcast episode recording.
Have you returned because you actually enjoyed the first one? Welcome
Hopefully.
back. Are you a new listener because you have no idea what you're getting into? Welcome all the same. And please stay.
We welcome all and encourage you to stay.
We do. Well, last week we talked a lot about films, stuff we had seen and recently and whatnot. This week we're going to talk about television. Just kind of starting it off real simple.
TV's where I shine. I love TV.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing in the whole
you've done a lot
world.
more, I would say, in terms of like your creative endeavors. You've done a lot more serial kind of web series, I guess, than like I do more short films. But I say that, and then I was also involved in both web series. So
that's true.
But
TV's my favorite.
I mean, you write a lot of serial stuff.
That's true. I would love to work in TV forever.
Yeah.
Not that I dislike movies, I just love TV.
And same, not that I dislike TV, but I love films. I mean, I would work on a television series, sure. I just don't think I could work on something that runs for like 9 years straight, you know?
Fair enough. Well, I think what's interesting about TV nowadays is they're getting shorter seasons, and like you're finding TV is getting less long runs. I mean, like, feel like
There's a lot of limited series out there. There's a lot of limited series out there.
Limited series are really popular. Just like shorter seasons, especially like, yes, a lot of shows are getting canceled after like 1 or 2 seasons, but you're seeing a lot of shows that are only going for a few seasons. Now, maybe that's because of they're getting canceled, but they're getting their last season. But like, I feel like there's not a lot of shows that run for more than, I can't think of any show that started in the past 10 years that's still on today, except for like Grey's Anatomy, Supernatural, which is ending. Criminal Minds
they just
ran
ended.
15.
They just announced the ending of Walking Dead.
Walking Dead is ending.
Criminal Minds also recently.
Criminal Minds ended after 15. Supernatural's ending. Grey's Anatomy's still going. Soap operas I don't really count in that because they sort of soft reboot themselves every now and then.
Yeah.
But again, so like a lot of the shows that started in the last 10 years aren't really running anymore. Like Arrow's over, Supergirl is ending.
Or even when they're pitched in a limited sense and like
to be shorter.
Yeah, they're like, we're only doing 4 seasons or whatever.
Which I think is really cool. Like Breaking Bad.
I love the I love the television series that are like TV movies in a sense, where they have like longer episodes and there's only like 3 or 4 per season, because they're just kind of like little mini films, but then they are also limited, so it's sad when they end. But
long way of saying, what I've noticed the trend
also because keep going.
The trend is like telling a more complete story, but in just kind of a longer time frame.
Yeah.
Which I've really started liking a lot. Like Breaking Bad, I feel like is one of the first shows that really did it. I'm sure there's other shows before it, so it's like, but it's the most prominent
Breaking
one.
Bad was like
it did its 5 seasons. It told
the story. It was a big thing
and
for
its time, and that was it.
Yeah.
And it was a good show.
I will say though, nope, you're not done yet. Keep going.
It's just a good show that like tells the story, gets in, gets out, but it doesn't like stick around for a while, which I think is the problem with some shows nowadays too.
Yeah, because they just, they're still making money, and so they just keep going even if they've lost story. I will say though, like TV just in itself and series have changed in how we experience it. Most everything is streamed these days. So, and streamed and binged. So it's like
And there's just so much stuff out there
you
that
have to write for that, I guess.
you have to like
Gosh,
keep it together.
you can
Otherwise,
never catch up.
well, you can never catch up, and then people are going to lose interest because if your show doesn't stay good for however long it's
I'll go
on,
to something
people aren't going
else.
to watch
Yeah,
it.
I do. I'm actually interested and not terribly against what Netflix is doing, and even HBO right now, where they release like one episode every week, kind of thing. Um, it kind of keeps me sane because I don't feel like I have a bunch to catch up on.
I know people were complaining about it with The
You know?
Boys, but I honestly don't mind it because, like you said, I don't feel like I'm falling behind. Or like I don't like, oh my
Mm-hmm.
god, there's a whole season I have to finish. Oh my god, how am I gonna ever catch up? And there's these other
It's
things I'm
also
gonna
like
watch.
it brings a little bit of nostalgia to me. I think there was just something growing up always being like, oh, I can't wait till next Thursday when this next episode comes out. Yeah, so there's just kind of like a little hype
Well, and the other
nostalgia
thing is
there.
like I feel like an episode, like the end of an episode, has to mean a little bit more because you still have to
Mm-hmm.
want to
Mm-hmm.
watch the next one. And
You
like
can't
with
just watch
binging
the next one right
ones,
away.
right? And with like binging episodes, you have it a little bit, but you can just watch the next one right away, and it's no problem.
Yeah, like cliffhangers have no meaning
Or
anymore.
you build up a whole season and end on a really massive
Even
cliffhanger.
like you can't even do like commercial break cliffhangers. Yeah, have you I mean, we've been inside for going on 6 months now. Have you watched anything
Oh,
in
oh,
that
the
time?
things I have watched. Um, Most recently, I've been keeping up with The Boys and Lovecraft Country. Two
Mm-hmm.
of my favorite shows, really. Lovecraft is really interesting. It's I
I haven't
never
seen
really
it
know
yet,
what's gonna
though.
happen.
Yeah, my brother's been bugging me to watch it, and I finally got HBO so that I can watch it. Um, so I'm gonna. That's like my top next thing to do.
This Is Us is coming back soon, which has been one of my favorite
Oh
shows.
yeah.
I just,
Didn't that just get canceled too?
huh?
Or am I wrong? Didn't that just get canceled too?
No, it has
No.
this season and the next one. Though I'm pretty
Okay. Okay.
sure, from what I've heard, season 6 will be the last one. From
Okay.
what I'm
Yeah.
guessing.
I thought I heard that it had an end at some point.
Well, like, because I know in season 3 they were like, oh, we're at like the halfway point, and then they got renewed for 3 more seasons, so I'm pretty sure it's going to be the last one.
Okay.
But I
Okay.
also started watching Gravity Falls, which is a really cool show. Um, I mean, that's what I'm keeping up on a bunch of stuff. Since HBO's been out, I've been watching like Looney Tunes and
Oh my
Teen
gosh, yes, I saw
Titans.
that on there. Oh, my favorite thing growing up was just watching Looney Tunes and Tom and Jerry.
And they have all the Ben 10 on there. That was my shit as a
They
kid.
do. Oh man. Oh man. Yeah, it's good. Good stuff.
Oh, there was a
Um,
show that came out with Anna Kendrick on HBO. It was called Love Life. Oh, what
Oh.
a great show.
Yeah,
It's
I'll add it.
honestly
I'll add it to
amazing.
my list.
It's one of my favorite shows that I've seen. Not just because I'm in love with Anna Kendrick, but because it's a really good show.
Um
Mandalorian, which is coming back soon, end of the month,
oh, I thought wait. Oh, never mind. I
October
thought it already
30th.
came out. Oh, okay, okay.
Season 2's on the 30th. But season 1's already out, yes.
Okay, okay.
What about you?
Yeah, I know
Anything
season
good?
1 was out. What did I watch? I watched Hollywood. That was a limited series by the same creators of American Horror Story and American Crime Story. It was really good, actually. Just very informative in a way, but then also dramatized in that. But it fit well because it's focused around Hollywood stars and the Hollywood industry. So it was interesting, and it looks so. Oh my gosh, the production design. I mean, I love a good period piece, but holy cow. Oh, so good. I could like die over it.
it's
I'm
so
not a
beautiful.
big fan of like the stuff that
The
Ryan
cast is
Murphy's
pretty good too.
done.
Yeah.
It's just not my thing. Like it's nothing, but I feel like what Ryan Murphy's done that's really smart is his anthology series. Is
Yeah.
because what we were just talking about is like it's a perfect way to tell a whole story, but then be done with it.
Yeah, I've actually recently I just started rewatching American Horror Story because I have to do that every year or so. But also I realized I hadn't watched the most recent one, the 1984, and so I was like, ooh, I should watch that, but also I want to rewatch. So I've been rewatching it. But I love the anthologies, and I was watching an old interview where they were like, when they started the show, when they started the first one, they had no idea it was an anthology series, like some of the actors.
But I think it
So
really works.
it
It's a
does,
way
it
to
does,
keep it
and
interesting, but
yeah, yeah. And
keep
it's
going.
also interesting to see the actors play so many different characters over the years
Right.
and just see their range in a
It's
sense.
kind of like
It's
that
cool.
movie Cloud Atlas. If you ever saw that,
No, I haven't.
it's a really long movie, but it's got like Tom Hanks, Halle Berry, Hugo Weaving,
Oh,
Jim
okay, okay.
Broadbent, Jim Sturgis. But
Yeah.
it's like six different timelines, and they play different people in all these timelines. It's kind of
There's
confusing, but it's a really good
yeah.
movie. It's also really long,
Okay.
so
You
you
know.
really got to
I've all
take your
yeah.
time.
What else did I watch this? Oh, I also watched The Umbrella Academy.
Ooh, yeah,
I'm
watch that
still
too.
watching season 2 though. I haven't finished.
How far in are you?
Episode 6.
Nice. Well,
Question
then I'm
mark?
really glad I didn't talk. I was going to talk about it because they have a really good cliffhanger at the end of this season,
Spoilers.
but I won't tell you.
Um I what I will say about season 2 is I'm glad it's like it's anthological in a way in that they moved time and place so that
Mm-hmm.
they could kind of have a completely new story in a sense.
Right.
But it also it's still the same show because it's they're doing the same thing they did last time, but
Well, but see, the
different.
thing is that's I think works for Umbrella Academy is you're not advancing like the plots of the story. You're just advancing the characters and their development
Yeah,
because
yeah,
that's
it was
what's
really
actually going
interesting.
on. It's not
Yeah,
because you're not trying
it
to
was
watch for a new story because the characters are like one dimensional, which I think is the
right.
problem with some shows. Like, as much as I love them, all those CW superhero shows, they don't really have a lot of character development.
Well,
It's
and
more
also
like
all of them
story
are based
development.
on comics.
Right.
So
It's kind of hard,
it's hard.
but I feel
Um,
like Umbrella Academy is more about advancing character stories
yeah,
and
yeah,
their like individual characters and not like the plot because yeah, they definitely just kind of reuse the plot of season one,
yeah,
but in Houston in the '60s.
yeah. That's something I really loved was seeing how all the different characters not reacted, but the different paths they took
Mm-hmm.
in that different time, in that different era, you know. And yeah, it's great. And it's also just a good era to stick people in because there's so much chaos going on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I also saw Watchmen.
I didn't watch that.
Really, really good. Yeah, I was pleased with that. And Hunters.
Didn't see
Hunters
that.
is on Amazon Prime, I think. That one was so good. Also, another beautiful period piece. Um, I'll rave all day. Um, but the story is just beautiful and eye opening. I mean, yeah, it's intense for sure, but I mean, it's good. The cast is good too. Love
I
them
also
there.
watched Fleabag.
Oh
It's only
yeah.
2 seasons, but like they're really short. I need to rewatch it because I feel like it's a really cool show. It's really interesting, like character study kind of. But I
Uh
feel like
huh.
you have to watch it more than once to like fully get the depth of everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it just feels like there's a lot there, but if you only watch it one time, you don't fully get it.
Right. Right.
So I need
And
to
I mean, it's
definitely
not bad to have
rewatch.
something to go back and rewatch. You know,
No.
it's fun to just have. There's so many things that you might have missed the first time that now you can like keep an eye out for or something.
Hmm. Um, I watched Space Force. I don't know if I liked it, but I watched it.
Okay.
It was
You
kind of
know, yeah.
weird. I mean, I liked it in that it was kind of entertaining, and I'm sort of curious to see where they're going to go, but we'll see what happens with that.
I did watch I was watching a bunch of old stuff too, so like not necessarily stuff that came out this year, but like I was watching Futurama because I had
Oh,
never actually sat down and watched every
I
episode in
love
order.
Futurama.
Yeah, I watched it a lot, kind of out of order, just
When it
um,
was on.
yeah. And so actually sitting down and watching it in order, I was like, man, how did I miss this?
One of the best
So smart.
TV
It's so
finales of all
hilarious.
time.
Yeah. And then my roommates and I were also watching Malcolm in the Middle.
I used to watch that.
Um, just such a throwback. It's such a funny show. It's so, oh my gosh.
It just
And
works.
it does. And I then was showing it to my mom because just the nuclear family and raising kids that are chaotic. Yeah, she loves it. She got a kick out of it.
Um, I finally finished watching The Big Bang Theory, which ended last year.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I remember watching when it first came out. I kept up with it for about 8 seasons. That was probably one of the first. So I never really watched sitcoms. Before that, all I watched were like 1 hour dramas. I didn't even know
Uh
sitcoms
huh.
really like existed. And I remember
Well,
watching
cause
it the first
yeah,
time and expecting it to be like an hour long because that's what I was used to. But then it was over, and I was like, "What? What? Where's the rest of it?"
that's
Um,
another show though that I never watched in order. I just kind of watched it when it was
I
on.
I just have like a semi emotional attachment to it because it was like one of the first sitcoms I ever watched.
Uh huh.
But I got kind of bored with it around season 8, so I quit watching. But then it was on HBO, so I finally finished watching it, and it was honestly the only time I've ever watched a season finale where I actually teared up.
Aw.
Because I did
Did
not, like, I knew it was going
did
to
you?
happen, but I
Yeah.
didn't expect it to hit me so emotionally.
Right. It's sad when a show ends, you know. Did you or have you seen Young Sheldon?
I watched one season of Young Sheldon. I'm not
Yeah.
sure about it. Though the thing that I noticed in Big Bang Theory that I didn't like is they had to try and connect it because they do a lot of stuff on Young Sheldon that
Mm-hmm.
they then like had to shoehorn in,
Into the newer
which I didn't really
seasons.
like. And they did it okay. It just sort of didn't always work for me
Yeah.
because they were bringing up characters that like they never had, and it was like, well, we just haven't. It's because he hasn't talked to him for 15 years. Like, okay, not unbelievable, but also like you never brought it
Eh.
up once.
That's fair. I haven't seen Young Sheldon, so just wondering if it's even worth it to like.
If you
But
want to,
I do love those shows that connect like that, like all of the Marvel Heroes
mm-hmm.
Netflix shows. I was obsessed with the interconnected stories. It's so smart and fun.
What I will say about it is, if you have a like of Big Bang Theory and you kind of just want to see something in a similar vein, but also more, it's a little bit like if you took Malcolm in the Middle with it, because it's got him, his older brother, and
Yeah.
his twin sister, and in that case, he'd kind of be Malcolm.
Okay.
Uh, his sister would definitely be Dewey.
is it is it based more for a younger audience or is it based for the Big Bang Theory audience?
I would say a little bit of both, because there's definitely a lot of stuff that like you get if you watch Big Bang Theory that makes it a little more enjoyable for you. But like if you just came into it, you'd probably be fine watching it too. Like if you don't have a lot of background on Big Bang Theory, it's going to be fine because it
Mhm.
doesn't like rely on the fact that you've watched Big Bang Theory
Right.
before.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I also watched I finally watched Jack Ryan, which so
Mm.
good. Um really well done.
Yeah, I don't know. Not my thing.
Sorry, there's a fly. Oh no, okay.
Plus, there's just so
Anyways.
many shows that you have to be like choosy,
Right,
which
there's
feels like a
so
weird
many.
problem to
There's
have.
so many and only so much time.
Hmm.
So yeah.
I,
What are I mean, you talked about some of Big Bang Theory and whatnot, but what are some of your favorite TV shows? Do you have favorite ones, or
well,
what do you always go back to?
I like Big Bang Theory. I don't know if I'd call it my favorite, especially after kind of rewatching it. I sort of realize in a lot of areas it can be really problematic.
Uh huh.
Just with like the male and female character relationships and like I would.
It is also how old is? I mean, how many seasons
It had
have
12
they done?
seasons, but like over the
Yeah.
12 seasons, they don't. I don't feel like they adapted a whole lot to
To
like
yeah.
the advancing age. Like something you can't really call it a product of its time. Like
Mm.
Friends,
Uh huh.
you
Uh
can
huh.
do that with. Friends is definitely one of my favorite shows. Um, and I would agree there's problems with it, and I would not say it's a perfect show. In a lot of ways, it's like a really good example of like television and episodic television. And there's a lot of good things about Friends. It's not perfect. Yes, it has its problems, but again, that was like mid '90s to mid 2000s.
Yeah.
I would call that a product of its time. I feel like it works even with those, but like Big Bang Theory's problem is some of those older seasons you could throw in the category of product of their time. They don't work now because of I want to say an audience that people are just able to communicate more. Not that
Mm-hmm.
they didn't care then. It's just easier to share the problems now. I feel like some of those earlier seasons I feel like could fall in that category, but like as it goes on, it doesn't adapt at all to a changing world at all. So it doesn't really work. Like Leonard and Penny, as I watch it, I don't feel like they work together because most of the comedy between their relationship is her just saying how much she doesn't like whatever he likes.
Yeah.
Like
There's not a
I
lot of
don't,
arc there.
and I don't feel like in a relationship you don't have to like everything the other person likes, but you have to have like enough in common.
Like, why are you? If you're just hating everything
Right.
about him or everything he does, why
Like we're
is it still a
friends.
thing?
We don't like all the same things. That's fine. But we have like a decent amount in common that it makes sense. Like it'd be
Right.
weird if we were
Yeah.
friends and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I love cats," and you were like, "I want all cats to fucking die." Like that doesn't work, and that's kind of their
uh,
relationship.
man. So Friends and
Um,
kind of Big Bang Theory, but Friends.
Friends, Futurama, which we talked about.
Uh huh.
Um, One of the best animated series. It really works on just like a ton of levels. It's
Right.
pretty much everything I would. I don't like The Simpsons a lot, but it's everything that I have liked about The Simpsons
It's
with
so
just everything I love
relevant.
about cartoons.
Right. It's so relevant for being a cartoon that takes place in the future.
Right? Well, and just the way they like weaved like would have been modern then, like Apple stuff,
Right.
like the way they
Modern
weave that
issues
stuff in, but also like make it work
or
in the future
contemporary.
too.
Yeah, contemporary issues that
Hmm.
yeah, it's yeah,
Um,
so smart.
Scrubs, another one of my favorite shows. Just like the only one of the best like dramedies, like a mix. It's like a perfect blend of comedy and drama
Uh-huh.
that I don't think's ever really been achieved by many other shows. Because like shows will have dramatic episodes, but like I feel like every
Right.
episode of Scrubs has like that undertone of drama, but like with the comedy on top of it also, and it just really works on a lot of levels. Like it's not perfect. There are issues with it that I'm sure people could bring up, which I know. So like I get that. But I still love Scrubs. I wasn't sure about it, but also the format is just kind of an ingenious format because it has like fantasies and flashbacks, and it lets you do like really interesting storytelling stuff
Yeah.
that you don't see a
Yeah.
lot in shows, except for with probably one of my other favorite shows, Community.
Oh my gosh.
Community
Love
is so
Community. I
good.
love Community. I was so excited when they put it back online to stream.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
I don't want to get into this a whole lot right now, but I'm really mad they took off the first Dungeons and Dragons episode
Oh,
because I don't feel like they had a valid reason. I understand and I get it, and I recognize the general importance of it. I just feel like that was the wrong take because there's
Yeah.
so much else about that episode that is like really good and beneficial that I feel like not having it hurts the show overall.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I love that show was so creative in its versatility.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not it's a sitcom,
Right.
but it's not the same every episode. You know, there's so many parody episodes of like documentaries or
Oh,
war
they're not even
films, or
parodies. It's like they say it in one episode. I think Abed says,
it's probably his filmmaking one.
well,
There's so many fourth wall episodes.
he's like, basically just says it's not parody, it's homage because they're not
Right,
like
right.
making fun of it. They're just like, this is
Yeah,
what we
like
love about these.
the his birthday episode. What's it
Yeah.
called?
Oh, that's a
Dinner with
great
Abed,
one.
probably. But
Um,
yeah,
pillows
yeah.
and
Homage
blankets.
is a better term for it for sure. Homage, illusion. It's they're some of my favorite episodes. I remember in our serial media class we had to analyze a TV show, and I chose
Mm.
Community, and it was the best decision. But it was also like I had to choose a single episode to analyze, and that was the hardest to decide. But so good,
Mm-hmm.
so
And
good.
that was like one of the like Donald Glover's introduction to everybody,
Yeah, yeah,
and
for sure. Yeah, and oh
all
yeah,
the characters are really good except for Pierce. But like all
yeah.
the characters are really well thought out. They have really good motivations. The way they're telling their stories is really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm. And they're all different characters too. It's in that like Breakfast Club sense, in that you get all the different, not stereotypes in a way, but all these different characters that wouldn't normally be brought together, and so it's kind of meant for everyone. You know, it's not just meant for a specific audience in a sense.
that's one of the other things I like about Community because like Troy is like the jock character, but
But he's also a nerd with Abed. Um, yeah, it's good. And the the versatility just allowed them to keep it up for so long because it never got old. You know, it never got old.
and like they call back to the fact that they sort of abandoned their own premise several times.
Yep, yep. There's so many fourth wall moments that are great in that show.
Which is one of the other things, like, because that's one of the other problems I think with some shows is like they try so hard to stick with the things that worked, they don't try
Mm-hmm.
to expand it in any way,
Right, right. You have to be, yeah, yeah.
or they don't do it in the right way. You know, New Girl,
Mm-hmm.
another one of my favorite shows, hilarious.
I remember watching that a lot in freshman year with my good friend from high school. We would just sit and watch it for hours.
And while I couldn't place any of those other shows in any particular order, what has probably been my favorite show of the last oh, 10
50
years.
years? Oh.
Haha, I'm not that
Ha ha
old.
ha ha,
Just because I don't have
jokes.
any hair doesn't mean I'm 50 years old. But Doctor Who has been pretty consistently one of my favorite shows that I will always come back to because it's got everything and it reboots itself every few years and
It
keeps
does.
the story
Yeah,
fresh.
it's so interesting. I haven't kept up with it recently, just when they changed writers and then, yeah. But I watched it a lot. I mean, even growing up, I watched a lot of the original Doctors too, because that was something my dad grew up on. So yeah, just it's a classic, and it's so wild,
Well, and like one of
you
the
know.
beauties of the show is that like since they do switch the doctor and the runner, like showrunner, you can kind of
Right.
jump in at several different
Any
points,
point.
and it
Yeah.
doesn't affect like your
It's
viewing
the perfect
experience.
it's the perfect aired TV show because you don't have to have any context
Right.
necessary except for those like two-parter episodes. You know, you can just jump in when it's on TV.
Mm.
It's also it's meant for everyone too, you know. It's meant, like my dad still loves the show. Um I love the show. There's like little kids that love the show. It's It's amazing.
It'll probably be on for at least another 50 years.
Oh yeah, or they'll take a break again and then come back.
Which, is fine.
Right.
But I've been
Right.
rambling a lot. What are some shows that you like? Just to get it off me.
Community. Bringing that one up for sure. I also love Psych.
That's another one.
That,
Like Community, like Cyber, like
I
subverts the
love
expectations. That show is so good.
Yeah, I watched it when it first came out. I was obsessed. Also, because I love like true crime and crime shows and detective shows, and it's a different take on like Holmes and Watson in a way, and it's just so funny. And that cast, oh my gosh,
it's also an original take on the procedural crime drama premise.
It is, and it's so it's also like, how do you come up with that premise in the first place, and then how it's amazing to me in a character sense and also in a writing sense how they kept up that, not joke, but that story of him being psychic for so many years. It's crazy, and it's so funny, and it's I could go back and I go back and rewatch it all the time. And then they still make, I love that they're still doing stuff. They've made a couple films.
Those
they
are
did
both
some
on
cast
Peacock too.
Yeah, they did some cast reunions. They have fun. They make little like parodies, kind of in that Community sense. Those homages for sure. There's always a reference to some 80s film. It's amazing and hilarious. Yeah. And then in a more serious crime sense, I love Criminal Minds.
Yes.
Just, it's always just so fascinating, the nature of the terrible shit that goes on. I don't know. It's so real compared to, there's plenty of crime procedurals that are like, it's real because that stuff happens. But I don't know, there's something about Criminal Minds that's just, I don't know.
Feels a little extra real.
Right. It's not a drama for like procedural drama's sake. It's not. It has huge character arcs and huge story arcs too, and they kept it going for so long. Yeah, I don't know. I love it, and it's also something that you don't have to have too much context to jump into. Sure, there's always some big character plot that's going on, but for each individual episodes, you can just kind of jump in. It's great. I also love The Walking Dead. That's another show that I've watched since it first came on. But I also read the comics when they were written.
And I want to read the comics more than I want to see the show. I've seen the show a little bit. Good. I'm just not a zombie. Like, that's not my genre.
Right. Well, but here's the thing: is it's not
about the zombies. It's about the survivors.
Zombies,
that's what everybody always tells me, and I've seen it, and I don't know.
It's also crazy it's one of those shows, kind of like, but not like The Big Bang, because The Big Bang Theory is a sitcom, so it kind of is just the same thing over and over. But it's crazy that for 10 years you get to watch these characters and these actors and these stories grow. And it's just, I don't have one, I'm older than the actor that plays Carl, but by a couple years. So you kind of grow up with them in a sense, which is weird because they're in an apocalypse and you're not. But I don't know. It's also the special effects. Can we praise those forever?
I would give. See, that's the one thing crap. I do like is I like the technical aspects of the show, like the set design, characters.
Oh my gosh,
the costuming.
It's crazy.
All that stuff I really like about it.
Yeah.
But that's probably my favorite part of it.
It's so crazy and amazing, and I'm glad they now have like various spin-offs. They just announced their World Beyond series, which is like
Carol
a continuation but with different characters. Just to keep up that, I don't know, story in a sense. So that's a good one. I would say I also enjoy The Office, the American version. The British version is great too. It's fun to watch, but it's not for everyone, but
It's true.
the US office is, that's something that I can just play in the background and be perfectly content with. I also love just going through and only watching the cold opens for like various episodes
I
because
think
they're
it'd be
just
really
so
funny
hilarious.
to like. There should be like a game show for people that don't watch a lot of TV, where you just show like the cold open and like the
Wait, stop
stinger.
talking now so that no one steals your idea.
Anyway, um, you do like the cold open and the stinger, and people have to guess what happened in between. It's like people have to guess what the episode is
Ooh,
based off just what happened in the beginning and what happens at the end.
that's great for The Office because most of the time the cold open has nothing to do with the episode.
I know. That's why it works.
Yeah, it definitely, it's definitely problematic in various ways, and some of, some seasons are better than others, but a lot of those episodes I could just watch them in the background and be perfectly content.
30
It's so
Rock
it's so
is another
hilarious.
show I would throw in the
Ooh,
pretty good
and then
range.
I will say American Horror Story. Just in, I love horror and anthology, and I mean we kind of already talked about it, but I mean some seasons I like better than others and
They're always going to
whatever.
be. You
But
can't make everything
right,
perfect.
you're always gonna not like something, but it's, yeah, and since it's anthology, you can pick and choose
Hmm.
which ones you're gonna watch,
I'm just not a big horror person. I haven't really. It's
which
just
is
not my
totally fair.
genre.
It's not for everyone. It's very dark, it's very gory, it has a lot of
And that's,
triggering topics, but
I don't know. That's not even
if
really my
it's for you, it's
problem
for
with
you.
it. I don't even really have a problem with all that, but it's just, I don't know. People talk about how much they like horror, and I'm like, I don't really get that.
Which is fine. It's not, it's not
It's
everyone's
just not my
jam.
thing.
What are you looking forward to? I mean, I guess I feel like, are there any new shows coming out, or is it kind of just like new seasons?
I'm mostly looking forward to, I guess, the next seasons of shows. Like Better Call Saul, I'm pretty sure is ending. Lost
Mm.
in Space is ending.
Oh yeah, yeah. Did you ever watch the original Lost in Space?
I watched the movie, but not the show.
I've been so nostalgic for the show, and I can't find it anywhere.
I think it's on Hulu.
Is it really?
Pretty sure it's
Oh
on
my
Hulu.
gosh, that was a throwback to when Netflix didn't stream and you could only rent DVDs. That was the show my brother, my dad, and I watched. That like every month or whatever, they sent us a DVD of like, 5 episodes from a season or whatever. That was
Oh, I
something.
remember that.
I grew up on a lot of 50s and 60s television because my dad wanted to relive his childhood, which is fine. But a lot of sci-fi. Not that that's bad at all.
Sci-fi's the
I would
best.
say, yeah, I would say a lot of the stuff I'm looking forward to is actually just stuff that I haven't had a chance to watch yet. Um, like I just got HBO, so I'm excited to watch Euphoria and Raised by
Oh, I want to
Wolves
watch
finally.
Euphoria.
Yeah, I'm excited for Haunting of Bly Manor, which is like the
Hmm.
sequel for Hill House. Um, and I haven't watched Ratched yet. Have you started watching that? But that just
I
came out
haven't.
on
I think I
Netflix.
might. I'm
I'm.
not sold yet. If
It's
I have
kind
some
of
time,
like,
I might watch it.
yeah. I feel like it's kind of going to be that horror thriller. I
But
don't
it's
know,
also
but I'm
set in
excited. I
like
saw
One Flew Over
the
the Cuckoo's
trailer.
Nest, which I really like.
There's also. Have you seen the trailer for Soulmates, the AMC show?
No.
It comes out in October. It's another anthology written by created by one of the writers from Black Mirror, and another creator too. I don't remember which one, but it's an anthology about like various love stories from in a futurist, like near future, take this test to figure out your soulmates kind of thing, and it looks so fascinating. Also, anthologies. Why did neither of us talk about Black Mirror?
I. That's a little embarrassing, honestly.
It is embarrassing. Oh my gosh. Um, Anyway, Black Mirror, love the show.
Twilight Zone.
Good
Well, because I
stuff.
mean, it's a little different than like.
Twilight Zone too, because you don't think of anthology necessarily.
I mean, it definitely would be an anthology, but it's not like American Horror Story or Crime
Right.
Story in that sense.
Because it's not a seasonal anthology, it's a individual. I mean, we'll probably have an episode on here where we just talk about Black Mirror and or Twilight Zone. So
Mm-hmm. And Black Box.
Stay tuned, folks.
Ba-dum-bum, ba-dum-bum.
I think it's about time.
Hey, it's about that time.
It's about that time for random topic time. We'll get a jingle or a little sound effect or something going.
At least eventually.
But
it's
eventually.
random topic time.
Something like that. All right, what color should I go for today? Or this time?
Do a blue one.
A blue one?
Yeah. Make it blue.
Okay. We got
This
some
one is about greasy
blue.
white boys.
What is it? Ooh, okay. What is your Hogwarts house, your capital district from the Hunger Games, and your faction from Divergent?
I don't know enough about Divergent, so I'm not going to answer that one.
Yeah,
I don't remember all the
remember
districts
the
for Hunger Games. I'll probably have to Google that one.
Let's Google it real quick. Okay. We're going to do this right.
For Harry Potter, I've always been a Ravenclaw.
Okay. I'm a Slytherin.
Makes sense because you're a snake.
Ha! Okay. Hunger Games, districts. Oh, I don't want the quiz. I just want each one. Okay. District 1 is luxury. District 2 is masonry and weaponry. District 3 is technology.
Fishing is 4. Power is 5.
Electricity, transportation, lumber, textiles, grain, livestock, agriculture, coal mining, nuclear. I think I would maybe be textiles.
That makes sense.
Like fashion and stuff. Because I feel like that's kind of designy.
Jeez.
Otherwise, maybe like coal.
I don't know. I'm not good at any of these.
I feel like you would be technology.
Huh?
Maybe. Technology, maybe. District 3.
Maybe technology or transportation, because I want to fix cars. So
yeah.
Maybe transportation. Definitely not luxury.
I would maybe do... Yeah, I think I would maybe be District 8, which is textiles.
I would say District 6 for me.
I'm dumb. Lumber, District 7. Do lumber. Build some shit. Become a carpenter.
District 6 for me, I guess. We can be next door neighbors.
Yeah.
I can throw rocks at you.
Wow, over the fence?
Yeah.
I'm going to look up the Divergent factions, just because it's interesting. Well, you don't have to have read Divergent at all. So there's abnegation, which is selflessness. Erudite, which is intellectual. Dauntless is bravery. Candor is honesty. And amity is peaceful.
Okay. So are you kind, intelligent, selfless, or honest? Jesus.
Or peaceful. Or brave. Or wait, yeah. Oh geez. I think when I have taken a thing in the past or whatever, I was like a dauntless erudite kind of mix, which is bravery and intelligence.
I don't know if I'd be down for dauntless. That doesn't sound like me.
I also think it would just be so freaking fun, the stuff they do.
I mean, I would want to be
dauntless. There's the answer right there. Yes, I will jump off onto a roof.
Nah. I wish there was one for like the coward. I'd probably be amity.
Yeah, amity or
abnegation.
Abnegation. That's a good one.
I'd be definitely one of those.
Also, if I remember correctly, so the main character has has multiple personality things. So you can be one of those people. That's why she's Divergent.
She's a freak.
Title drop.
Oh man. Do you remember when they were going to make a 2-part movie and then they were going to make it a show and then Shailene Woodley was like, hell no.
That was disappointing because those books are so good. Well, the first couple. Again, adaptions. a story for another day.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
For now, we shall
Indeed.
sign off, and hopefully you will come join us again.
Yeah, thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed us rambling about some television. What are we doing next? Next week we're gonna talk about Knives Out. Little spoiler look into it. So come back. We're gonna start talking about some individual films, some individual television shows,
Yep.
various topics across them, what it's like working behind the camera.
And what it's like trying to get stuff made.
Yeah. So
It's going to be a blast and a half.
come back every Friday, wherever you like to listen.
Listen, listen.
And
Listen, otherwise you're missing.
We'll end it right there. I don't think there needs to be more said.
The end.
Bye.
Bye.